In the royal house of David, the harp had grown quiet. The same strings that once sang of triumph and praise now lay untouched in the corner of a silent hall. The palace, once alive with music, laughter, and songs of victory, had become heavy with unspoken grief. King David, the man after God's heart, sat upon his throne, not as the mighty warrior of his youth, but as a weary father carrying burdens that crowns cannot ease. The victories of the past had faded into memory, replaced by the quiet storms within his own household. Among his children was Tamar, a daughter of grace and purity, her spirit gentle, her heart full of kindness. And there was Amnon, his eldest son, handsome, strong, but weak in the matters of self-control. And Absalom, Tamar's full brother, proud, striking, and fiercely protective of his sister, yet harboring a pride that would one day consume him. One day, a dark desire began to grow in Amnon's heart. He longed for Tamar, not with brotherly affection, but with lust that clouded his reason. And so he devised a plan, pretending to be ill, so that Tamar might come to tend to him. The king, unaware of the deceit, sent his daughter to care for her brother. But within those chambers, kindness met betrayal. Amnon's lust overcame his conscience, and in a moment of selfish passion, he violated his sister. Tamar's cries echoed through the palace, her robe of many colors torn in grief. The robe that once symbolized her honor and purity. Her innocence was stolen, and her spirit crushed. When word reached David, the king was filled with anger, but he spoke nothing. He neither punished Amnon nor comforted Tamar. His silence, whether born of confusion, fear, or misplaced mercy, hung heavy over his household. And that silence became the seed of sorrow. For silence, though gentle in times of peace, can be deadly when justice demands a voice. Absalom, Tamar's brother, said nothing to Amnon, neither good nor evil. But within his heart burned a quiet fury. He watched his father, the king, do nothing. And in that void, vengeance took root. 2 years passed. Absalom smiled in public, but behind that calm expression was a storm waiting to break. At last, he invited all the king's sons to a feast, a time of laughter, music, and wine. But beneath the laughter was a plan, and when Amnon's heart was merry, Absalom gave the signal. The music stopped. A cup of red wine spilled upon the table, its crimson stain spreading like judgment itself. And Amnon was no more. When word reached David, his heart trembled with pain. Another son, one lost to lust, another to vengeance. Yet even then, the king said nothing. Absalom fled to a distant land, and for 3 years, David longed for him. But pride, guilt, and confusion kept the father from calling his son home. The silence that once lingered between David and Amnon now stretched between David and Absalom, a chasm wide and deep. When Absalom was finally allowed to return to Jerusalem, his father still refused to see him. 2 more years passed, 2 years of silence, bitterness, and distance. And in that silence, rebellion was born. Each morning, Absalom stood by the city gate. He greeted travelers, listened to their complaints, and spoke kindly to them. He told them what they longed to hear, that if only he were judge in the land, justice would be swift and fair. And little by little, he stole the hearts of Israel. Handsome, eloquent, and confident, Absalom became the people's prince. Yet behind his charm burned ambition and pride. And one day, he declared himself king. Trumpets sounded in Hebron. Banners were raised, and David, the father and the king, fled from his own city. Barefoot, robe torn, he wept as he climbed the Mount of Olives, a father running from the fruit of his silence. Soon the battle rose between David's loyal men and Absalom's followers. Absalom, caught in the branches of an oak tree, was struck down, despite David's plea to spare him. When the news reached David, his heart broke. He wept bitterly for his son, wishing he could have died in his place. His cry became the voice of a father who realized too late that silence has consequences. Yet even in the ruins of his household, God's mercy endured, and the promise of a greater son, one who would one day bring perfect justice, truth, and grace, still stood firm. And so, to every parent who hears this story, let David's pain become your wisdom. Silence may feel gentle, but when correction or comfort is needed, silence can wound. Speak early, speak in love. For more videos about stories and events of the Bible, hit the subscribe button